Dalton Knecht turned his basketball obsession into a career by always taking on greater challenges, especially the rather unique challenges he took on in Tennessee. Number 6. Dalton Knecht's early life. He modeled his game after several Hall of Famers from an early age. Born in Fargo, North Dakota, Dalton was obsessed with basketball from an early age. He fell in love with basketball when he was just 6 years old, and he has his dad to thank for that. Dalton has said that some of his earliest ball memories were watching college basketball with his dad. Clearly, he passed his love for the game down to his son, along with his work ethic and passion. Dalton grew up playing point guard, and he and his dad studied Chris Paul, Steve Nash, Kyrie Irving, and Steph Curry. Not a bad bunch to model your game after. They spent every Saturday and Sunday from 10 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. at the gym training. Dalton would return on weekdays to put the work into practice. But the one thing that took his game to the next level was dedicating countless numbers of hours to one particular skill. Number 5. Basketball obsession. A key workout plan turned Dalton into a beast. Growing up, two things were clear. He loved basketball and that he needed a growth spurt. Everyone believed that the growth spurt would come. So, in the meantime, Dalton was focused on what he could control, his skill set. He was addicted to working on his game. He truly wanted to play his way to the NBA. It was perhaps less a dream and more a declaration, even with the far-out nature at the time. This is what I love. That is something I want. I want to be an NBA player. Nothing will ever change the fact that I want to go get my goal. Now, there was this unspoken belief between him and his dad. The two of them then set a trajectory on doing the things it would take to prepare him for college basketball first. Dalton seemed sure there would be more. He believed in himself so much that he believed he could achieve his wildest dreams. Instead of listening to the naysayers who said he was too small, he listened to his dad, who also had a late growth spurt. His dad also knew a thing or two about shooting. Dalton's elite shooting ability can be credited to his formative years. His shooting motion dates back to his middle school years, when he was hooked by basketball. He worked out in the mornings at Lifetime Fitness in Westminster, Colorado with his dad, Corey Knecht, where he taught his son how to repeat the form. Set your feet, flick your wrist, hold the follow through, elbow in, focus on the same spot on the rim. Consistency in everything. Dalton was a quick study. He picked up the setup and release immediately. The workouts gained structure, and soon enough, he was adding to his routine. Free throws and mid-range jumpers just to warm up, then dribbling into pull-up jumpers, then free throws to reset, then three-point shooting from the wings and the top of the key. Sounds exhausting, but not for Dalton, who was only energized by seeing his hard work pay off. The exact shot he has today came about later in high school when he got bigger and stronger. He could raise the ball higher to start his motion. It made him lethal, a sharpshooter with a sudden release. It also created an unbreakable bond between father and son. Then, the basketball gods decided to reward Dalton for his hard work. Number 4. Basketball journey. In high school, his dream of playing ball was almost taken away from him for good. Dalton attended the Prairie View High School. One day their coach, Keith Wyatt, didn't have his entire team because it was football season. So he took the opportunity to involve a 5'6" incoming freshman. At the end of a game, Coach Wyatt decided to see what the kid had to try and win the game. Dalton was just a scrawny little kid at the time. He dribbled down the court, flicked a jumper with an already refined release, and he missed. They lost the game, and Dalton bawled his eyes out, feeling like he had let everyone down. That passion Dalton had couldn't be taught, and his coach saw it. However, he was ineligible in the fall semester of his sophomore season at Prairie View because of his grades. His family and coaches opted for him to sit out the entire season to focus on academics. He had to watch basketball and not play in all games that season. In some ways, this was the best thing that happened to Dalton. In that pivotal moment, he had to either allow procrastination to get the best of him or learn a valuable life lesson. Thankfully, he did the latter. School mattered, especially if he wanted to get to his dreams. Dalton still got in the gym around his schoolwork, which he dedicated to in a new way. As a reward for his relentless work ethic, he got what he had been waiting for his entire life: a growth spurt. He rocketed to 6'3" by his senior year. By the time he started college, he was 6'5" and grew more at NJC to reach 6'6". Confidence came with the height. Coach Wyatt saw a change in Dalton when he started dunking. He had the ability, now he had the size to match it. And that would be a dangerous combination. The next step would be to go to college, where he would shock all of his coaches. Number 3, college highlights. Dalton would cross another thing off his bucket list when he played for the same college as his idol. Eddie Trankel, the head coach at the Northeastern Junior College, had an assistant coach in his ear, telling him all about Dalton. However, he needed to see firsthand before he bought the hype. Dalton made just about every shot he took in a pickup game. He hit three-pointers and made step-back jumpers. He showed his sudden movements on the court. He already had an evolved offensive skill set. His passing ability might have been the most impressive thing he did on the court. Makes sense seeing the modeling his game after point guard CP3 and Steve Nash. What Dalton said after cemented Trankel's conviction that the 17-year-old he watched dominate was no normal recruit. When the coach asked him how he liked the game and why, Dalton answered, "I loved it because I played with guys who wanted to win every game and every point." Another story from his early college days was when NJC was headed to overtime against Eastern Wyoming with its season on the line in the Northwest Plains District semifinals in April 2021. Dalton told Coach Trankel they were going to win the title game without question. After which, Dalton spent the 5-minute overtime period finding ways to score repeatedly. He came off screens, he worked in the high post, he ran to the wing, he made good on his word with a blend of scoring and passing. He had 38 points and 9 rebounds to send NJC to the district title game. For the 2023-2024 season, Dalton decided to change schools. He could have chosen any school to let him play to his strengths as an offensive master. However, he ended up going to Tennessee because his favorite player, Kevin Durant, had been coached by Tennessee head coach. Dalton studied KD's game on YouTube in middle school and still does to this day. On top of that, Coach Barnes had a defensive reputation. Dalton had done the work to become a sensational scorer, and now he wanted to build up his defense. His biggest leap defensively has been on the mental side. He constantly asks questions and is always seeking feedback. His father still calls him after every game and critiques his performance. Dalton also stays in contact with his junior college coaches. Trankel says that he has never coached a player who would call more regularly after he left, and he always wants feedback and never shies away from criticism. Knecht stayed so connected with his former coaches that he'd know Northeastern's travel schedule and used to FaceTime them at 2 a.m. when he knew they would just be getting back from a road trip. This thirst for knowledge and always looking to improve his game is a big reason why he had a breakout year during the NCAA tournament. He was named SEC Player of the Year by both the league's coaches and the Associated Press. He was also named SEC Newcomer of the Year by the AP. Dalton is also balling in his business ventures. Number 2, NIL deal. He is one of the most marketable college stars in the game. He is represented by Excel Sports Management, who have helped him secure several lucrative deals. This includes working with Harry's, Skims, Freddy Steakburgers, and Dick's House of Sports. He has over 67,000 followers on Instagram, a number that is soon to double or triple if he continues his winning ways, especially once he declares for the NBA. Speaking of doubling and tripling, his net worth is also headed in the right direction. Number 1, his net worth. Key sponsorships can make all the difference. Dalton has been on top of the college world for a while now. The success has allowed him to work with some of the biggest brands in the world. Each lucrative deal has made him wealthy, and that's before even playing in the NBA. And add to that his business ventures, and he could really be racking in some serious cash. But all in all, his estimated net worth is somewhere around the $100,000 mark.